All right, well, welcome again to Virtual Friday Coffee. We hope this is very convenient for you guys. We've noticed, not just with Friday Coffee, but some of our other events that we're getting some really great participation this way. So we definitely think we're going to adapt this for some of our other programming in the future. So real quick, I am going to share my screen. Got a couple announcements. So if you can see my screen now, this kind of announces our topic, which is update on summer activities and events. We're going to find out what is going on this summer. What can we do with our children? I have a 2-year-old at home, and I'm wondering what are we going to be able to do with him outside this year. So this is exciting for me. We've got some great speakers. We've got 4 on the agenda today, so we're really excited to hear from them. Thank you guys for volunteering your time. And just some housekeeping items that we do have everybody muted. And that's just to, if you get a doorbell ring or something like that, it doesn't come into the meeting. The sound doesn't come into the meeting. And then we'll suggest that you change your view settings from gallery view to speaker view, and that'll allow you to bounce back and forth when different speakers are speaking. You don't have to find out, which one's actually speaking on your grid of photos. And then if you have any questions, just put those into the chat window. And I think we're going to save the Q&A session for the end. So if you have a question for the first speaker, we'll just address all those at the very end. And then we just ask that if you want to record this, please ask us permission first if you're going to use anything from our presentation today. So in addition to that, we have an exciting announcement. We hope you've seen already some information from our Jacimo Chamber Marketplace video challenge. We launched that about, it's been about a week and a half since we launched that. But we are excited to tell you that we have extended the deadline on that for another week. We've got a lot of members that kind of have feelers out there that said that they're going to make a video, but they just haven't had time. Things have just been kind of crazy. So we're happy to extend that for a week, and maybe we can get some more videos in. And so the requirements for that are that the videos are 30 seconds or less. And you can send that to me in a couple different ways, through retransfer or Google Drive, or you can just email it to me. And the exciting part about this is there is a prize. So the winner will get featured in an e-blast that goes out to all of our members, which is about 1,700 email addresses. You'll get 4 free eConnection ads, and eConnection is our email newsletter. That also goes out to those same 1,700 people. And you'll also get a free member spotlight on our website, and that's for 1 month. And the member spotlight, you can put any information in there. You can have photos or links to other websites. You can put videos in there. So it's an awesome prize. So I'll just say that, and I'm going to unshare my screen, and I will let Susan take it off from here.
Sure. Thank you, Kelsey. I appreciate you making that announcement. And I also appreciate the opportunity to highlight the Jacimo Chamber Marketplace for all of you that are participating and posting offers on that site, and for all of the members that are patronizing other chamber members. It's just kind of our part to kind of create awareness and support to shop locally and do business with our fellow chamber members and our community during these times. So thanks for sharing that. Friday coffee, it's a lot different to have Friday coffee this way, but it's great. I see that we have about 57 people that have joined us. I'm glad that each one of you are here. Normally we would go around and do introductions. Of course, we're not going to do that, but we can all see our smiling faces on the screen, or at least have an idea who's here. I am so glad to have had our panel of participants here to answer, like Kelsey said, the question, what types of events and activities are going to go on this summer? Will there be fireworks or concerts, or can you go to the park or the pool? And I reached out to the powerhouses of Jefferson City, the folks that make these events and other events happen for our community that are fun and memorable. We do have Angela Nale here for downtown Jefferson City, and Angela can wave. I see her there on the screen. Yeah, and Penny is here from the Salute to America. Looks like you're on the go in your vehicle. That's good. Phil Stiles from Parks and Rec, JC Parks and Rec. Good, Phil. And then Diane, of course, with the JC Convention and Visitors Bureau. So I am going to just let each one of those folks just kind of give updates. And we all know that we had the recent announcement from the governor about the continuation of our phase 1. So I'm sure that not only they're going to share maybe how that's changed, what their plans are, or take it from there. So Angela, do you want to go ahead and start? Oh, Angela needs to unmute or be unmuted.
I unmuted myself.
There we go.
Good morning and happy Friday, everyone. So just to touch base on a few things, I'm sure everyone's really curious on Thursday Night Live and whether it's happening or not happening. And obviously we had to cancel May's Thursday Night Live for no reasons that need to be explained. So as for June our event is scheduled for June 18th. And as of today, it is still a go. Yay. So we have talked to all of our downtown restaurants and our downtown bars and businesses, and they are all very excited to get back up and going and to have this event. They've all been, obviously everyone has suffered from having to close their doors, and, for a restaurant, it's very difficult. So they are very excited to get back up and start running. Obviously, I think there's a big concern, we're bringing a lot of people downtown. So we have talked to the health department, and their advice to us is we're outside as long as we can still provide social distancing. It is still a go. They haven't told us to cancel. They don't want us to cancel as of today. It's anything can change. This is a very fluid thing. So we will be providing hand wash stations. There'll be 2 of them spread throughout the venue on the 200 block of High Street. And obviously there's porta potties and stuff like that too, still as always. But there'll also be Germ-X and hand sanitizers at all the bars and the 2 gates where you come in. So we're going to do our best to make sure that, you can still social distance, you can still clean your hands and clean everything as you go through. It's like when we put the wristbands on, we'll probably ask you to put those on. We won't, so we're not touching you and stuff like that. So we've been very lucky in Cole County to only have, I think we're down to 2 active cases in Cole County right now. So the biggest concern, I suppose, with most people is what we're bringing in from out of town. I think for a Thursday night, not a lot of people are coming in from Boone County or, a lot of outside surrounding counties. We do believe that Jefferson City is ready to get back out. And I think everyone can agree with me on that, So we are expecting a good crowd that night. The bands, throughout this whole thing have been just awesome to work with. For the June 18th event, we are having the Mixtapes. They are coming up from Springfield. So they are 90s, I want to say 90s rock, but I'm sure someone's going to correct me. So I listen to country music. So I don't know how to explain it, but it is 90s music, 80s and 90s music, and they have high energy. And so we have DJ Kurt opening up for them. So he is a local guy. So that will be on June 18th. On July 16th, we're going country with Shiloh Country Band, and they'll also have a opening act. So just a small opening act to kind of get everyone into the swing of things. On August 20th, Soul Root Band will be back. We haven't had them on the stage for a while. Ron's a local guy. I actually went to high school with him, and we sang in high school together. So I kind of enjoy seeing him on stage. And on September 10th, we will have the Cherry Pistols on stage. So as everyone knows, we have canceled, and we're not doing one in October, just for the fact that the end of October is so unpredictable. Zombie Night Live has not been productive or produced any income or revenue in a long time. So we're just not going to do it this year. As everyone knows, the building at the 200 East High has been removed, and that makes things a lot easier for Thursday Night Live. So before, with all those barricades sticking out into the street, it was very difficult to set up our stage. We will still set it up where we set it up last year. Just blocking off that 200 block and still leaving everything else open. So, but the stage will be able to get further in to the block this year without those barricades. When they back that in, it's hard to get around those barricades. So they're excited to be able to set the stage up without having obstacles to go around. So that was a huge help to us. I know there's not one person on this call who can say they're disappointed to see that building go right now. A lot of other events downtown obviously happen during this time of year. Unfortunately, most of them have been canceled. I know Phil has had to cancel Kids Fest, and there's been other things that have been canceled. The Piccadilly is normally scheduled for the first weekend in August. We have moved that event to the first weekend in October. Now, we didn't move it due to the fact of COVID. We weren't worried about the social distancing necessarily come August. Our biggest concern was going to businesses and asking them to donate and buy tickets and sponsor. At this point, we'd already be normally we start asking for sponsorships in March for this. And we did not feel that approaching businesses at this time was appropriate. So we have moved that to October. So, and everything should be back up in swing of things, because I know September we start homecoming parades and all those other events that happen downtown. So hopefully things are back to normal come that point. So for the downtown area, any questions in regards to Thursday Night Live or anything else with downtown?
Let's see. Anybody have any questions? I know we're going to do some questions and answers at the end, but just anyone wants to ask one. Frank, it looks like.
Is there a meeting of Downtown Association June 9th live, or will it be Zoom? Downtown Association, June 9th, 7:45 a.m. for Angela.
She's muted. Yeah. Angela is muted.
There we go. Sorry. On the 9th, we will be having it as a Zoom meeting still.
Okay.
Central Bank has gone into phase 2 of reopening all of our facilities, but we are still very cautious on who we're bringing into our buildings. And so with that being an audit building where we normally have it, we can't really social distance in there, because we're all at those tables. So we are going to do June meeting as a Zoom meeting, and fingers crossed, July will be back to normal.
Thank you.
Good. Okay. Well, speaking of July, Penny, I think you probably have something going on in July that you might want to speak about. Salute to America.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me on today. So obviously this is a big deal. The virus definitely has a big impact on our event. And, obviously the public health is our main concern. But we've been staying in contact with the governor's office, working with them on a COVID plan so that we are operating in the capacity that they would require us to be. We've also met with the Cole County Health Department and discussed measures with them. Obviously with the governor's announcement yesterday that he says fairs and festivals can continue on as long as we're abiding by the current requirements. So we are planning to move forward, but it'll be under, obviously some changes. Some things may be, eliminated just for this year because of the situation. So pretty excited to at least have a portion of the event, and we'll kind of update people as we continue to meet on it and discuss, what those areas will be. And then of course, obviously we'll come out with that announcement.
Can you share just a little bit about some of the changes in the activities, some things that you may or may not see from the, fireworks, festivals, carnival, I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of that is still under discussion, but obviously changes in regard to COVID is, obviously we'll have hand washing stations available throughout every block that is currently active during the festival, whatever parts are left to participate in. Obviously, all food vendors will be surface wiping, gloves, the normal requirements that they're currently using will still be in effect. Distancing is obviously something that we're very aware of. The concerts, obviously they're out on the lawns, so we're able to spread out pretty good there. if we decided to keep those concerts. But other things like the carnival, the parade, those are all up for discussion right now with the board, and we're trying to make those decisions.
Good. Okay. All righty. Well, how about we hear from Phil about things at the Parks and Rec?
Good morning. Can everybody hear me? Am I on?
Yes,
Hello?
you are.
Okay. All right. Good morning. Have I guess a lot to update everybody on. As of June 1st, all of our youth and adult sports will be starting, as well as our day camp programs. So we're excited about that. Here at the link, we do have our phase 1 hours in operation, and those are Monday through Thursday from 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we close the facility from 1 to 4 p.m. for cleaning, and we reopen from 4 to 8 p.m. And then on Friday, we're open from 5 to 1, close from 1 to 4, and remain open from 4 to 7. On Saturday, we're open from 7 a.m. to noon, and on Sunday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. In phase 1, the fitness center is open. Here at the link, we're also doing group exercise classes. Most of those are held outside, with the exception of our spin and yoga classes. And the track is open for the public. As of now, the basketball courts are closed, and we'll be talking with Lincoln University officials to see when we can get those open to the public. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Playgrounds have been closed since probably April. Good news is they are reopening to the public today. And our water fountains have been shut off within all of our parks, and those will be reopened early next week. So if you're looking for some outdoor activities this weekend, you can enjoy the parks and the playgrounds. Swimming pools are scheduled to reopen June 5th. In phase 1, we're going to be doing the public sessions a little bit different this year. In phase 1, we're going to have a public session from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Then we'll close from 2 to 3 for cleaning, and then we'll reopen to the public from 3 to 7 p.m. During those sessions, we are limiting the number of people to 150, and they will need to pay. If they're coming to both sessions, they would need to repay for the second session. Ice Arena is scheduled to open on Monday. Again, there's different phases for opening that facility. In phase 1, let me get to my notes here. Phase 1 will be June 1st to the 14th. During that time, we will not have any public ice skating sessions, but we will have freestyle, stick and pucks, and private and after camp skating sessions for the campers. We will limit it to 15 skaters on the ice, including coaches. And then phase 2 will begin June 15th and continue through July 5th. At that time, we will be offering public skating sessions, limiting to 30 participants in the facility. Ball tournaments. We do have several ball tournaments scheduled in July. As of now, those are all on as scheduled, but we're just kind of playing a wait and see to see if those groups are still wanting to play ball at the facilities. As everybody has mentioned, we do remain in contact with the Cole County Health Department to get their recommendations on programs, events, facility openings and closings, as well as some of our statewide associations and national associations that we belong to. So On our website, www.jeffersoncitymode.gov/parks, you can find a link that has all of our guidelines for the pools, the ice arena, all of our facilities, and how we're approaching the reopening of those facilities.
Sounds like you and your staff have really put forth a lot of effort. Tell us about the impact that that's had on your staff to make all those changes and cleaning. My goodness.
We've been busy, but everybody's pitched in and done a great job. This is kind of a new normal for us and probably for everybody in this meeting. So we've have attended a lot of meetings and gotten a lot of good feedback from others throughout the state. And, we're just trying to do the best we can to provide great service and facilities for the patrons. Like everybody said, everybody's wanting to get out and get active and be social.
Mm-hmm. Certainly, certainly. Okay, well, Diane, why don't we turn it over to you? We can hear about the Convention and Visitors Bureau and then circle back around for some questions maybe.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you for having us. Wanted to, our mission is bringing visitors to our city. And so when the virus started, we kind of had to change our mission statement, and our efforts in marketing pretty well went dark for quite a while. But going in and deciding when the city is ready to welcome visitors to our community, and then when are the travelers ready to start traveling again. So we put a tagline on some of our ads that we've been promoting and stating that we'll be waiting for you when you're ready to start exploring again. And we're promoting that in our Missouri publications. We know that our visitors are going to want to drive in, and that they will be coming from within the state of Missouri. At this time, people do want to get out. They're looking for outdoor activities. So that's kind of more of our promoting of what we have to offer here in Jefferson City. As many of you heard, we are starting the Msp Tours starting in June the 1st. And as everybody else is doing, we're looking at new guidelines. We have less people being able to go on the tours. We have our tour guides, doing the correct protocol that everybody else is and doing the social distancing. So we're going to see how those go in June. And as we continue on, we'll maybe be able to increase the number of visitors that were allowed on the tours. We know June is going to be and then we'll be able to hopefully start picking up a little bit more on that end. As Phil mentioned earlier, we do have some tournaments that are planning to come in June. Numbers are pretty high, so we'll see if that does happen. And hopefully that'll bring some community. Most of the events have canceled or postponed for later in the fall. We're working with those, and the hotels are working with them to how they can handle those. The groups are not going to be able to have as many people in the meeting rooms, so that's going to impact whether the groups decide to go ahead and have the event or whether they look at rescheduling for next year. Many of the groups have rescheduled for next year, so at least we're capturing them for 21. The Prison Break event. Again, we do this with the Parks and Rec, and we have that on the schedule for August the 29th. And then on August the 30th will be the triathlon. So we're looking at how we can partner those together and promote it as a weekend in Jefferson City to some run activities. And then, as you know, the Peddlers Jamboree was scheduled to come into Jefferson City Memorial Day weekend. That was pushed off to Labor Day weekend. So September the 5th, we'll be bringing that group back into the city, and they are still on. And we will just be monitoring it, whether we can continue on or we will need to reschedule that. Working with another group that's looking at bringing a couple bike events into the city that will be using the Katy Trail. So we see that The Katy Trail is going to be very popular this year, and thank goodness we don't have any flooding issues at this time. We hope that that continues. That again, that will bring some visitors into our community, which we lost those visitors last year due to all the flooding. So we're hopeful we're going to be able to capture them. Any other questions, or are we going to do questions later, I guess?
Sorry, I was muted. Sorry, Diane. I had technical difficulties, you guys. I've switched from my laptop to my cell phone during this meeting, but I do know we have one question about the Msp tours. How are you doing those? How does that work?
So we have the social distancing as you enter. We have it marked out on the sidewalk. We've eliminated the stairs, so they do have to use the ramp. We have contactless check-in. We have hand sanitizer stations all around the facility. We have masks provided to our tour staff. We're asking the guests to wear them, but as you know, that's something that's hard to really enforce if people don't want to. But we, on our waivers, we have added the COVID guidelines that we will be following on site, asking that if they do not feel well, please do not come onto the property. And again, the numbers that we're allowing on the tours, we normally do about 30. We're knocking that down to around 15, 20 people. So that will allow the social distancing. And once they're outside, they can take their mask off. But again, when they enter into any of the buildings, we do ask. The gas chamber will only allow 2 people or a family group inside the gas chamber at a time. So we're putting those protocols in place. We think we're prepared for it. So hopefully we will have the visitors come back to us.
Sure. Well, I just want to add, the CVB was really active in supporting the local restaurants. You kind of led the way with letting people know how they could shop and how they could patronize them. Are you continuing that, or tell us about what you have online so people know?
You know, we ran that at the beginning of all this because we felt like we needed some feel good out in our community. And we looked at it as a way that we could help our local businesses. It was very successful. We were able to distribute a little over $4,000, which, you know, when you divvy it up to different businesses, it may not seem out like a lot, but it was big for our community. We've stopped that promotion. That we won't start something else here later on, that we could maybe create another one. But we appreciate everybody's support of it. We had some great comments on it. And I think it just made everybody feel good that they could help out in some way.
Certainly. Sure. Well, does anybody have any questions for any of our presenters?
Susan,
Well,
I have a question for Diane, and I had typed it into the chat box. You maybe didn't see it. I just was curious if the local hotels are scheduling groups for meetings.
You know, Donna, I have heard from the DoubleTree, with the DoubleTree and the Holiday Inn, they do have meetings being held in the hotels. They are putting them in larger meeting room space so that they are allowed to spread out some. And I did hear that Capitol Plaza has somebody back on staff. Kelly Bungart is back on staff helping to book groups in there. So again, they're looking at the numbers and the rooms that they can, the size of rooms that they can place them in.
Okay, thanks.
good question. Any other questions about any of our activities or events?
I have a question for Phil Stiles. Phil,
Yes.
do we have an opening date for Community Park?
Community Park is about 90% done, and we are hoping to open that park, have a ribbon cutting sometime later in June or early July.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, Susan, I also have one more thing.
Yes.
I forgot to mention that we had to move our prison concert from our normal June date to September 12th. And we did put tickets on sale on our website, Concert Inside the Walls. And we are currently looking for sponsors if anybody's interested in being a part of that. It's going to be Smash Mouth. We're very excited. It'll be a rocking group. So I just want to make sure everybody knew that as well.
Good. I'm glad you mentioned that. I had that in my notes, but I was wondering if you were going to mention the Concert Inside the Walls. Phil, I had one thought about, we talked about your staff and all the things you're working on, but there've been a lot of improvements in the parks. Can you give us an update on kind of your efforts that you're working on overall there?
We are currently embarking on a park master plan, and the first project is the community park, as Frank mentioned earlier. It's going to be a very interactive park with really some neat playground features, a water park or a splash playground, a pavilion, restrooms, and some sculptures. So we're really excited about that. McClung Park is currently going under a renovation with the indoor pavilion. That is scheduled to be done later, early fall, I'm thinking. And it's going to be really neat. We're renovating the indoor pavilion, putting a deck on the outside so you'll have a nice view of the city, doing some parking lot improvements with security lighting. So it's going to be really nice. The big project that's going to be starting here in the next couple weeks is the renovation of the amphitheater at Ellis Riverside Park. It's about a $2.5 million project. Once that's completed, the amphitheater will have, I think, 2,000 seats. And we're looking at, bringing in concerts, theater groups, things like that. So we're looking forward to that improvement.
Good. Thanks for that.
Susan,
Yes.
Susan, could I ask a question? Diane, I was just wondering, you touched on the events related to the sporting events, but are you seeing anything or hearing anything related to conferences, the associations, meetings of that sort? Sorry, Diane.
Yeah. What I'm hearing is some of the events that are scheduled for September and October have held off of not making any decisions at this time. Some of the groups, depending on the size, is whether the hotel can handle them or not. Or do they have to change the format of their group to fit the guidelines of the social distancing. So the fall events are still kind of up in the air as to how they're going to move forward. I do know that many of the groups that were booked in March, April, May, June have rebooked for next year. So that's a good thing. At least we're going to pick up that business. The hotels are being hit hard, especially, Capitol Plaza being a conference headquarter hotel. They did, as everyone knows, had quite a furlough of staff, and they're currently bringing a few of the staff back in to handle some of the smaller meetings that they have going on. So it's kind of a wait and see, and we're just trying to stay in touch with the planners, offering any assistance that we can, and try to move forward with them. The other question is, even if you do go forward with the conference, what's the attendance going to be looking like? How many people have their travel budgets been cut, or how they feel comfortable traveling? And that's why, that consumer confidence is so important right now, that they see that the facilities are taking measures to provide cleanliness and to see that the staff is taking it, wearing the mask and that type of thing. So, it's kind of a crazy time right now in the conference world. I do feel like conferences will come back, because I think, us humans like that social interaction. This works fine for the time being, but I still think we like to be with people, talking to people, sharing in experiences and meeting together. So I do feel like we will bounce back next year, but the first quarter of next year might be a little tough too.
Thank you, Diane.
Yeah.
I have a question for Phil, if I could. Are there plans for improvements or development in North Jefferson City, the Noren River access, Riverwalk area?
Alan, at this time, we don't have any immediate plans for that area.
Okay.
Also, Phil, we did have one question. Someone asked specifically, where is the community park that you referenced?
Community Park is located near the intersection of Dunklin and Lafayette Street. It's across the street from the tennis court complex there at that intersection.
I had another question on that. There's I think it used to be a building belonging to the Diocese of Jefferson City in that area. Is that owned now by Parks and Rec?
Correct. We did buy that from the Diocese of Jefferson City, and we're actually going to have a park employee live in that house.
Okay.
So, Susan, could I ask Phil a question real quick?
Certainly.
Phil, the park that is on East Miller Street,
Yes.
what will become of that?
As of now, we're still keeping it as a park. There has been some discussions with the Veterans Association to expand the National Cemetery into that area, but we're still in the talking phases of that project. So it's probably going to be 3 or 4 years before anything becomes of that park if a decision is made on what to do with that park.
Thank you, Phil.
And Phil, did you give a specific date for the community park opening, or?
We don't have a specific date. We're just targeting the end of June or early July.
Okay.
I have
And
a question for Phil.
go ahead.
Yes, what is the current status of North Jeff City and the Master Gardeners corner there? They did such a great job, and then they got flooded out. And I understand they're going to possibly move to Riverside, but if they do that, what's going to happen to North Jeff City?
North Jeff City will still be maintained as a park. I don't know if the Master Gardeners will continue to upkeep that area known as the Quid Commons. Part of the park master plan is to move the Master Gardeners over to Ellis Riverside Park, and we're working with them to create a botanical garden that hopefully could become a nice tourist attraction for the city.
Any other questions? I did see one. Penny, I know you touched on the concert behind the walls, but why don't you just go over that again in case someone missed that? I saw a question in the chat about that.
Sure, no problem. Yeah, we moved it from the normal June date. Like I said, it is now September 12th. It will be located at the prison. So happy about that. It's such a wonderful venue. So much history there. And again, we're having Smash Mouth. So very excited to have a 90s band in there, and rock band, obviously. And we did go ahead and put tickets on sale on our website at Concert Inside the Walls. And super excited about that.
Good. Thanks, Penny. Speaking of announcements, I don't know if anyone else wants to make an announcement. I can say, as far as the chamber, we do have our chamber golf tournament. It is set for June 15th at Meadow Lake as scheduled. Like everyone else, we were, we kind of evaluated if we felt like we could have that event safely. And and obviously following all the guidelines. We are sold out. We have all of our sponsors in place and looking forward to that. But we also postponed, just like everybody else. Our chamber barbecue is now September 3rd. So we will begin our plans for that. But if anybody else wants to make an announcement, Kelsey can maybe unmute everybody so they can do that. Natalie, I saw that you had something to add.
Hi, sorry. I don't know if you can hear me super well. We're on vacation and I'm in a hotel room. Yeah, no, I just said in the comments, Ice Cream Splash is canceled this year. It's usually in back to, again, sponsorship and a lot of things like that. So that is canceled.
Okay, all right. Thanks for the update. Anybody else?
Susan, this is John Mosley over at Lincoln, and I'd like athletics. We're going to do basketball camps. We're planning for late June and in July. I'm working with our local high schools to try to make sure we don't conflict with one another. And then our annual Blue Tiger Athletic Club Casino Night will be held on August the 8th. We're actually searching right now for an outdoor venue to accommodate everything that's going on. And I will have more information on that in the coming weeks. But I think people are ready to get out and have some fun. That's it.
Thanks.
John Mosley, could you announce if people are not a member of the Blue Tiger Athletic Club, how they can join? It's super easy.
Absolutely. You can call our office at 681-5333. You can join online by going to lubluetigers.com/BTAC, Blue Tiger Athletic Club, or send me an email. Even with the social distancing, I'll come by, drop something off for you to pick up, however we need to do it. It's a tremendous group of local constituents and national alumni that goes to support our athletic club, all 12 of our athletic teams. And we welcome the support of this community. It's been great to us, and we hope to continue to grow that number from last year's membership of 412. We're on a drive for 5 this year. Our goal is to get 500. So help us spread the word. And I've always said, the better Lincoln University, the better Jefferson City. So thanks everyone for your support.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I'll announce Mayor Turgeon here. Oh, go ahead, Susan.
It was Paula, but Paula, and then Mayor, you can go. So Paula, do you want to go ahead and make your announcement?
Yeah, I would like to announce that September 19th, we are going to be doing the Redemption Inside the Walls, but it'll be at the fairgrounds again. We do have a nationally known Christian artist that we're going to have there. I can't announce it yet, but it was a good event last year with the Newsboys, well attended, and we've been asked to do it again. So September 19th, we will do it again out at the fairgrounds.
Good. And the name of that concert again?
Redemption Inside the Walls. It started to be inside the walls, but the tornado moved us outside. We haven't gotten back yet, but we will.
Yes, good. Okay. And Mayor?
Yes, I wanted to announce that the City Council on Monday night, we're having a virtual meeting again, and you can watch it on Facebook Live, or you can call in or video in if you want to participate in the meeting. But it'll be an exciting meeting, because not only are we likely going to choose a developer for MSP redevelopment, but we're also, we have a contract to select a developer to build the Bicentennial Bridge to Adrian's Island. So I mentioned that because I know there was a question about the riverfront park on the other side of the river. So I wanted to mention that project is still moving along, and it has really been supported by a lot of local donations, and we are still fundraising for that exciting project and to Adrian's Island. So that will be a really big deal, and 2 really big historic events and votes that we are working on Monday night. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Anyone else? Anything else to add?
Frank here, may I?
Mhm.
I'd like to make a couple of announcements about Evening Rotary. Our membership drive is progressing well, and I'll tell you about a few meetings coming up. This Tuesday, June 2nd, we're having an offshoot of First Baptist Church, a Hispanic offshoot. Familia Cristiana Internacional. The Reverend Noah Angel is from El Salvador, and he'll be presenting about immigration, 5:30 p.m. on Tuesday, June 2nd, by way of Zoom. We'll get you the numbers if you need them. Other events, June 9th, Sarah Eber from Lincoln University Extension, talking about diabetes, education, and nutrition. And our own Eric Janesco, who just was addressing us a little while ago, will tell us how to do professional Zoom video at home. That's June 16th, 5:30 p.m. And Unitarian Universalist Church, our own Mayor, Carrie Turgeon, will be presenting about what's going on in the city at the Adult Forum discussion, 9:15 a.m. by way of Zoom this Sunday. Thank you.
Okay. I see in the chat that there was a question about all these events and where they might be posted. So Brittany, do you want to share with them about your visitjeffersoncity.com calendar?
Sure. If you go to visitjeffersoncity.com and you go over to our events, you can hover over, you'll see sports events, the prison break, and all events. We do try to keep that as updated as possible. So people throughout the city are submitting events daily. So kind of check back now and again and see if anything's been revised. But again, we do try to put everything on there that tourists would be interested in, as well as community members.
Good. Thanks, Brittany. Rochelle, did you have an announcement that you wanted to make?
I did. Thank you. Good morning. Happy Friday coffee. Kind of to piggyback on John Mosley about the Lincoln Blue Tigers, I met with Steve Mallow, the golf coach, and being a proud parent of some Blue Tigers, they have announced their date for their golf tournament fundraiser. It would be the second annual, and the first year was a very, very big success. But August 1st, just save the date is what it is as of now.
Thanks, Rochelle.
Thank you.
Rochelle. I see a chat from Sally about JC Magazine. Is there anything that you want to announce? I know you made a little comment, but anything to share? Maybe I called Sally out. Anybody else? Anybody else want to make an announcement?
Sorry, I couldn't. Sorry about that. So GC Magazine, we're really trying to keep up to date on any events that are going to be canceled. I know things are a little up in the air still, but we would like to try and include a date book for our July-August issue. Also, we are going to be, we are already working on our September-October issue as well. So if anybody knows of any events being canceled for those months, just let us know.
Good. Thank you, Sally.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Any other announcements before we wrap up our Friday coffee? We've had a lot of great information, and I really thank our participants today. Wish them the best of luck in all their endeavors, and everybody else as we're all in this together, scheduling and maybe rescheduling or reworking our events, but we all do it for the same reason, because it's wonderful community and it's our opportunity to come together. Before I close the meeting, anybody else?
Susan?
Yes.
Alan Mudd, kind of like Frank, Rotary West is conducting membership drive, and we've got several projects, charitable projects, both within the community and internationally as well. So it's an exciting group to be involved in. Anyone that might be interested, let me know, and I'd be happy to point them in the right direction. Thank you.
Good. Thanks, Alan. Thanks, Alan. Okay. Well, all, if that's it, I think that we'll go ahead and close this meeting. I thank you for your participation. Have a great Friday.
Thank you.